Hi, I'm John Giesick, and welcome to the C-Suite Sherpa podcast, where we spotlight business experts and resources you should know. Today, we have a special guest, Marc Bolick, who's the managing partner at Reshift. And Reshift specializes in human-centered design and innovation consulting. Marc, tell us about your company and what you specialize in.
Thanks, John. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and your audience. Reshift is a human-centered design and consulting company, as you said, and we help leaders and their teams learn and leverage design to drive transformative change. At the root of our methodology is human-centered design, which is essentially the same as design thinking. It's about understanding the people at the center of the problem and building a structured approach to solving that challenge. We can talk about some examples and what that means for customers. In some cases, focusing on customers or of our clients, it's better customer satisfaction, retention, loyalty. If focusing on an internal challenge, it could be employee engagement, improved satisfaction, more creativity, innovation, which a methodology applied externally or internally. That's what we do. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So just to be clear, you mean it could be in-house situation or the way they're dealing with their customers or clients?
Indeed, a lot of innovation is focused on products and services that companies are selling to their customers, but there are internal customers and services. For example, we do work around employee experience. That's an internally focused engagement. And you can innovate the inside of your company just as well as you can innovate what's external facing.
Marc, tell us about who your services work best for. What types of companies?
We've worked a lot with larger organizations, typically because we established a reputation. We were formerly called Design Thinkers Group. So people were coming to us for design thinking. And we did a lot of training. We did a lot of sort of what we call capability development, which involves coaching, tracking metrics of change. We have a reputation and a client base in larger size companies. They also typically have the budgets that can support an external consultant. But I will tell you, the times that we've worked with smaller and medium-sized companies are also where we can have great impact. We're agnostic to types or sizes of organizations. It's more for the types of function inside an organization than the market. We've worked in luxury brands, travel and leisure, enterprise software, healthcare, international development, federal government, FDA, and the Department of Interior. We have a broad range of clients.
If you look at your business, what separates you from your competition?
I would say it's the non-cookie cutter approach we take. Almost all of our engagements start with a conversation with someone who has a particular problem they haven't solved before. And what I mean by that is not, yes, of course, they haven't solved that particular problem, but that type of challenge they're trying to tackle. Usually these are complex, multi-stakeholder problems. We spend time scoping it with the customer and playing back what we're hearing, even before we get the deal, to understand what are they really trying to achieve and what success looks like. We solve problems best for leaders who recognize they need external help. We help them to sort of create a structured approach and a roadmap to getting to where they have defined success.
So are you finding some of your customers, Marc, are calling you in surrender mode saying, hey, we've tried everything in-house. We can't figure this out. We're going to need some outside help. Is that one of the triggers where people call?
Yeah, that may be an interesting way of putting it. I think people recognize design thinking has real value, and they're looking for a partner who can bring a structured approach that is proven to work for innovation. They find us through word of mouth or research. I think most of the time they know that's what we bring. They have possibly seen the work we've done for other clients. We get a lot of business from repeat clients. So a lot of the times clients will come back to us and say, really loved what you did, back in that previous engagement. I've got a new thing. We get clients who move from one company to another and say, what you did over there, we need here. We've had that opportunity in many cases, which is awesome. In particular, we're starting to see a lot of focus in clients asking us to help them with their sales process using human-centered design and design thinking. And that's a really exciting area for us of growth, because it really is and we could talk more about like the challenging times that we're living in. The place where businesses are investing is where they can see an immediate impact in the bottom line. And for sure, the sales function is one of those profit centers inside organizations that if you can move the needle just a little bit, it's always a return on investment.
Yeah, a lot of times they'll see the solution is we just need more sales. Sometimes that is the solution, and sometimes that exacerbates the problem. Mark, before we hit the record button, we had a great conversation. You were explaining to me the facilitation process. Can you tell our viewers about the facilitation method
Yeah,
you use?
yeah. I'm really glad you asked that question. My background is as an engineer with an MBA. I came to this design thinking world. We don't do the work for the client. We're not a huge consulting firm that has teams that go on site and solve the problem for the client. Our work is always facilitating our client to help them solve their own problems. They're the closest to the problems. Oftentimes that involves collaborating or co-creating together with some external or internal stakeholder group. What we do is we structure a process to address this challenge that they're trying to design for, that is essentially structuring a series of conversations. Those conversations result in some form of working meeting or workshop, usually the type of workshop that you're looking to get a specific output from that workshop. So we help them design that conversation, and then oftentimes we'll facilitate those workshops for them as an external party, independent person without any biases, right? To help them get to make progress along that roadmap that we've defined. So almost everything that we do involves facilitation of one form or another with small or larger groups. That is one of the biggest value adds we bring, aside from the methodology and structure. It's being really good facilitators at the end of the day.
That's great. That is a big differential for you. It's almost like you're embedded in there, gathering all the information so you could provide a proper solution. What about the industry, Mark? What do you see for the industry, like one of the biggest hurdles that you guys are going to have to overcome in the next couple of years?
I'm going to say the most obvious thing, which is if you speak about the consulting industry, what AI has done over the last 12 to 18 months has been diverting budget from other innovation initiatives to AI. It's a race, maybe a rat race, because people understandably, it's all new. So organizations are struggling with that. Maybe they're investing in things because they know they just have to invest, right? I dare say there's also been a fair amount of political uncertainty over the last 12 to 18 months, and that's starting to clarify. Those have been the biggest things we've seen, specifically around AI. We're building custom GPTs and using AI directly in our work, both internally and with clients. We're using AI in the design process and in workshops where we have participants partnering with AI in their working groups. We're part of an international think tank called Partnering with AI. The whole investigation is to understand how humans, not so you and I both know, like when you use ChatGPT or Claude or whatever Perplexity, you're interfacing and having a conversation with a machine, right? What we're investigating is what is that dynamic when there's two people or more than two people and AI? How do you as a team collaborate together with AI as a tool? Because that's really important in our work, especially when we're doing this collaborative problem solving process.
Wow, that's something I haven't heard.
Yeah, yeah,
Groupthink with AI. It's
yeah.
fascinating.
It's everywhere. The digital transformation organizations have gone through when they digitized or made e-commerce over the past decade and a half, 2 decades. That investment is it's going to look like child's play to the transformations we're going to see, not only in industries. Their industries are starting to overlap and bleed into one another, Automotive industry and the energy industry are starting to overlap, just for example. And you're also seeing transformations inside of organizations in the way that work gets done. I don't even think we've started to see the beginning evidence of that. Companies are investing huge amounts of money to figure it out, basically. And so that does impact us. But I do think we will be well positioned because a lot of our counterparts are also investing time and money. We can help our clients understand they're investing in AI technology, but it's the combination of the technology and the humans that's really going to create the magic. I think that's where we're going to be able to help our clients most.
Yeah, exciting times. Never going to be a dull moment. If you don't like change, you're in for a bumpy ride. All right, Mark, we're going to loosen proverbial ties and go through a lightning round. Let viewers get to know you. So I'll ask you a few, hopefully non-thinking a lot questions, and you could just say the first thing that comes out, and then we'll wrap up and take it from there. Coffee or tea?
I'm a coffee guy.
Dogs or cats?
I've had cats all my life. I've never had a dog. I guess I'm a
cat guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Mark, I don't know if you know this or not, but there's a zombie apocalypse that's going to come.
Yeah.
And if you only get to grab one thing, what are you taking?
Ooh, yeah, my bicycle.
There you go. Think you could outrun these guys? Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
all I have to do is be faster
Than the
on a
slowest
bike.
guy. Okay. You're gonna be faster than your neighbor, right?
Exactly.
All right. What about Mark, favorite quote, something that inspires you, something you go back to, maybe impacted you? You got something like that?
A quote by Henry Cloud is essentially, we change behavior when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of changing. Everything we do is change. You have to overcome the status quo. Our human-centered design is about identifying people's needs and pains. Once you've identified that and have a solution, getting the change to the solution has to be less painful than staying the same. And that's a big thing. I have another quote, which I'd say all the time, which is repetition is the key to repetition. We teach people a lot, but my colleagues are probably laughing now.
All right. What about a book, Mark? Book you've read that's impacted you, or maybe something you're currently reading now, or a recommendation for the viewers?
I will plug this book by Priya Parker, The Art of Gathering. It's a beautifully written book that tells stories and provides lessons around when you're gathering people together, the things that you need to do to honor that gathering of humans, right? And as a facilitator, that's what we do. It's a well-written book, and she's well known in facilitation circles for The Art of Gathering, Priya Parker.
Oh, that's awesome. Tell me something on your bucket list that you already checked off and something still on there, but you know you're going to nail it.
I'm a two-wheel guy. A couple of decades ago, I traveled across the country on a motorcycle. That's something I've done, and I would love to do again. But what I haven't done that also involves two wheels is I'd like to ride my bike across the country. That's on my bucket list. I've done longer week-long tours on my bicycle with friends, but I'd love to cross the country. You see a different perspective when you're going slower on two wheels. It's fun.
Get it done, Mark. Let's talk about one of the biggest obstacles you had to overcome to get the success you're having now, and share a bit about the lesson you learned from it.
As a small consulting firm, we're about 10 people. At the time we were 12. That 2020 COVID. And we were, business was booming and things ground to a halt. Fortunately, the way that we're structured, the whole team stayed together, and it gave us the opportunity to do two things. One is we were able to do to ourselves what we help our customers do, which is develop a strategy, resulting in a rebrand from Design Thinkers Group. We had a wonderful experience going through what we take our customers through. And it was really, really helpful, both for ourselves, but also for our ability to do a better job with our customers. And the second thing is we were forced to do something I kind of poo-pooed when people would ask me, which was go online, right? And do everything remote. So as I mentioned, we're facilitators. Usually you think of a meeting space, people and collaborating. We had to figure out how to do that online. So we retooled. Every engagement has a virtual and hybrid, and in some cases never getting together in person, but we try to have an in-person component for sure. What we learned was never say never, and really embrace the newness we were doing really well, And I think we thought this is just going to keep going. They say the only constant is change. We should always be looking around the corner. Like I think the folks from NVIDIA today will be saying, gee, I didn't think that a Chinese company was going to come and sort of eat our lunch, OpenAI, with the announcement of DeepSeek. The company change can happen overnight. We're embracing AI and any new technology that can affect us. That's the big lesson learned.
That's great, Mark. I appreciate you sharing that. People are going to want to know the best way to connect with you. Share your details with us, and we'll include them in the podcast.
Sure. Reach out to me directly, Marc, M-A-R-C, at Reshift US, or check out our website, reshift.us. You can find me on LinkedIn as well. I'd love to connect with anybody.
Hey, Mark, I appreciate you taking the time today.
Yeah, John, thank you for the opportunity.